Imagine having a steady stream of ideal clients reaching out, already trusting you, already convinced you're the right choice, before they even say a word. No chasing, no convincing, no wondering where the next client is coming from. Just consistent booked calls, steady referrals, and clients who stay. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system that makes that happen for the health and wellness business specifically, without running more ads, without creating more content, and without adding any more complexity to your business. And here's what's different about this. You don't need a massive following, you don't need a big ad budget, and you definitely don't need to work any harder than you already are. If you run a health and wellness business or expert program and growth still feels unpredictable, this was made for you. Stick with me. By the end of this, you have a clear, complete roadmap to turn trust into your most reliable growth engine. Some quick context on why you should care what I have to say about this. If we haven't met already, I'm Kofi. I've spent 20 years building brand and acquisition systems for companies like Puma, CVS, Bayer, and Moderna, down to local service businesses and expert-led programs. And what I've learned is this. The businesses that grow predictably don't work harder. They install better systems. That's what this video is about. And here's what I've watched happen across businesses that I've worked with, like smart creators trying to outwork the chaos. They install new CRMs, new automations, new platforms, only to end up with a bigger mess and the same revenue ceiling. If that sounds familiar, you're not behind. You're not broken. You just need a better system. And that's exactly what we're going to discuss here. If you're looking for a shiny AI trick or a 1-week funnel, this won't be your favorite video. But if you want a real operating system for your health and wellness business, keep watching. Here's what I've found working with service businesses across healthcare, wellness, and expert programs. The problem isn't not enough leads. It's something I call the more trap. That's more tools, more posting, more follow-ups, and somehow less trust, less consistency, and less momentum. Here's what it actually looks like inside your business. You're getting inquiries, but they slip through the cracks. You follow up, but it's inconsistent, slow, and it feels awkward. You're posting content, but it doesn't translate into premium trust and clients. And your best clients love you, but the referrals are happening randomly. And you're always one busy week away from the whole thing breaking. And the frustrating part, you're not behind. You're not bad at marketing. You're not lacking discipline. You're just running growth without an operating system. So instead of trust compounding, you're constantly rebuilding from scratch. And if nothing changes, here's what happens. You keep adding tools, you keep adding tasks, your team gets overwhelmed, your brand looks like everyone else, and growth stays unpredictable. That's not a lead problem. That's a trust and system problem, and it has a real price tag. Most health and wellness businesses are sitting on $5,000 to $15,000 a month in revenue. They've already generated demand for, and they just don't have the system to capture it. Leads that come in and went cold. Clients who left and were never re-engaged. Referrals that never got asked for. That's not a marketing problem. That's a systems problem. And it's exactly what we're going to discuss and fix today. Now, let me show you the system. It's called the Smarter Brand System, and it's built around 3 levers. Think of these as the chapter titles of your growth journey. Not the full execution, but the map to get you predictable, sustainable client flow without having to chase more content, more ads, or more referrals. All right, let's talk about the first lever. The first lever is called attract. Think about what it would mean to already be the trusted choice before they even say a word. Most health businesses are invisible to the people who need them most. Not because they're bad at what they do, but because nothing in their market presence signals this is the one. So prospects default to whoever shows up first, whoever has the most reviews, or whoever a friend mentioned. None of that is about you. What you actually want is for someone to find you, see your story, read what you've done, and already feel like they know you before they ever reach out. That's what happens when your authority is built correctly. The calls are warmer, the objections are fewer, and you stop competing on price because trust has already been established and done the selling. The attract lever is focused on becoming the obvious choice. We do that through an authority amplifier, and that focuses on the right fit targets for you and your business, the authority assets that talk about your experience, the value of your product, and contextualizes it for those right targets. And of course, the distribution systems. Everyone feels like they have to be everywhere, but you don't. You just have to choose the right channels, the places where you can shine, and the right targets already are engaging. And that's where we focus on in the attract lever. The targets, the authority assets, and the distribution systems. So what does it look like when the attract lever is working? I'll give you an example. When Will and Michelle first came to me, they had a genuinely powerful product. It was a B2B sourcing platform that made it faster and easier for designers and brands to find the right suppliers. But in the US market, they were invisible. They weren't losing because their product was weak. They were losing because their story wasn't landing with the right people. Prospects understood what they did, but not why it mattered to them specifically. We didn't run ads. We didn't build a bigger funnel. We reframed their entire value proposition around a bigger idea, and we called it the future of fabric. It was a branded positioning platform that made their startup the obvious partner for modern, future-focused sourcing. Not just another tool in the pile, but something that was unique to the right prospects. And the result was a 75% increase in qualified leads. They got 13 million reach in social, 7 press hits, and multiple new partnerships, all in a market they were trying to enter from scratch. That's what authority positioning does when it's installed correctly. It doesn't just drive traffic, it makes the right people raise their hand because they finally understand exactly why you're the one they should be working with. Now here's a quick gut check. When a new prospect finds you online, do they immediately feel like you're the obvious trusted choice? Or do you blend in with everyone else in your space? So as we're talking about these 3 levers, we're going to use a traffic light system for you to grade yourself based on each lever. So for this attract lever, mark yourself as green if your warm leads come to you already sold, if you stand out and your positioning is doing all the work. Mark yourself yellow if you're visible, but it takes a lot of explaining. People need convincing before they feel confident working with you. And then mark yourself red if you mostly rely on referrals or hustle to get in front of people, and your present isn't doing much work between conversations. Now write down which level you're on, green, yellow, or red. We're going to use that later. Now let's talk about lever 2. It's called the activate lever, and it's focused on turning interactions into clients. It's the intake engine that helps you build out the conversations you're having over time, those conversations that are building those relationships, and then also conversations. How are you converting those conversations, those interactions, into deeper engagements that drive revenue? Now think about every lead that you've ever lost. Not because you weren't good enough, but because the timing was off, or you were just too busy to follow up. Research shows 78% of clients go with whoever responds first. Most health businesses respond in 24 to 48 hours, maybe. Some follow up once and then stop. Most health businesses have a leaky front door. If someone reaches out at 7 p.m. and gets a response the next afternoon, or sometimes they don't even get a response at all, or the follow-up happens once, feels awkward, and stops, and that person ends up going with your competitor. Not because that someone else was better or your competitor was better, but most likely they were faster to respond. Do the math on that for a moment. If you're losing even 2 or 3 inquiries a week to slow response or drop follow-up, that's not a minor inconvenience. Depending on what you charge, that could be $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, or more a month. And this is revenue you already generated the demand for. And that demand came from leads who were already interested, already looking, already ready to book. You just weren't there and you didn't move fast enough. What you actually want is a system that responds the moment everyone raises their hand, even when you're in back-to-back sessions, or when you're on vacation, or you might just be done for the day. A system that sounds like you and feels human and keeps the conversation moving until the prospect is booked. That's what this lever installs. Now, what does it look like when the activate lever is working perfectly? I'll give you an example. When we built the 24/7 virtual assistant program for Angela's Bayer healthcare brand, the entire goal was to provide trust-first communication at scale. The system we built combined AI and live nurse support to be there when the MS patients needed help the most. That's when they were injecting their medication. It wasn't just about automation for automation's sake. It was about providing real responses, real warmth at any hour. And the result of that program was a 51% active daily engagement increase. And a 39% of the users converted to recurring product interaction, meaning they started engaging with the brand more and more often during those treatment times because they knew the brand was reliable. And the feedback, it felt human. That's what this lever produces when it's installed correctly. When it's installed, you get speed without sacrificing the warmth that makes your brand worth trusting. So now it's time for another gut check. This one and this lever 2. When a new lead reaches out, does your business respond and follow up consistently, even when you're slammed? So let's use the traffic light to score yourself. Score yourself a green if you have a reliable intake process that doesn't depend on you or anyone on your team. When leads are captured, routed, and followed up automatically. Score yourself a yellow if it only works when you're on it, but it breaks in busy weeks. and you know you're losing more leads. And score yourself a red when you're managing follow-up manually. And if you watch warm leads go cold because the timing was off or somebody forgot. Now mark down where you rated green, yellow, and red, because we have one more lever to uncover. All right, we're at the final lever of the Smarter Brand System. And that lever is called multiply. And the goal of this lever is to compound and amplify the successful experiences that you're creating every day with the clients that you're already serving. And here's the part most businesses never get to. And that's making sure the work that you're already doing is paying off. Most health businesses earn a great client. You delivered good results. And then unfortunately, you watch that client quietly drift away. There's no follow-up, no referral ask, no reactivation when they're ready to come back. Just silence. And meanwhile, you're out there trying to find someone new clients. What you actually want is growth that compounds, where your best clients naturally send you more clients like them, where past clients come back because someone reached out at the right time, where reviews get posted while the experience is still fresh for your clients. None of that has to be manual or awkward or dependent on you remembering to ask. This lever makes it systematic. And here's what makes multiply lever the highest leverage place most businesses can start. You can have retained clients and reactivated clients. You represent the highest margin revenue in your business, and you're acquiring those. There's zero acquisition costs because you've already spent the time and money and resources to get that client, and zero cold outreach because they've already had an experience with you. And more importantly, you're not running and spending time and money on ads and generating more content just to bring in someone new. This lever is about having a system that stays in touch with the people who already know you and who already trust you, and brings them back when they're ready. Most businesses never systemize this, so they leave it on the table every single month. So what does it look like when the multiply level is working and installed? Here's what I learned working with my clients Akil and Maddie on the launch for the first treatment from the biotech startup. It was the first FDA-approved treatment for a condition that was often misdiagnosed and had crippling effects on patients. The acquisition part of the campaign worked perfectly, and patients were starting treatment. But the real challenge, and the real opportunity as I saw it, was keeping them on the treatment. Because if you've been in healthcare or any kind of transformational business, like any other service business, you know the impact doesn't compound until the patient stays and they start seeing the results of working with you or using your product or service. So, what did we do? We built the full 360-degree communication system around just that insight. We pulled together empathetic follow-up, education-based retention messaging, and touch points designed to keep patients engaged well past the initial prescription and treatment. And what was the result? We exceeded the 6-month revenue projections by 354%. Not because we found new patients, but because we built a system that kept the ones we already had engaged. And that's exactly what the multiplied level does for your health business. You've already done the hard work of earning a great client. This lever makes sure that make sure that that effort compounds instead of starting from zero every single month. All right, last gut check. Do your best clients automatically generate reviews, referrals, and repeat business for you? Mark yourself green if your growth is compounding from clients you already earned and the system is asking, is following up, and is reactivating without you. Mark yourself yellow if it happens sometimes, but it's random. If you get referrals, but you're not sure why or how to repeat it. Mark yourself red if you're always starting from scratch and great clients are drifting away and you're back out there trying to find new ones. All right, so you got your 3 scores from attract, activate, and multiply. Look at them. Are there any yellows or any reds? That's your constraint. That's exactly what's keeping you from growing predictably. And here's what I want you to know. You don't have to fix all 3 at once. If we work together, we'll look at your scores together and identify which lever to install first. That's how you start creating a predictable, sustainable client flow. Now, I've just walked you through the full 3-lever system. From attract, which is focused on filling your pipeline, to activate, which is focused on converting your conversations reliably, to the 3rd level, which is multiply, which compounds all the activity from clients you already earned. And the whole thing runs together as one operating system. Think of it this way. It's like installing a modern front desk, a modern marketing team, and a modern retention coordinator inside your business. So growth doesn't happen or depend on memory, mood, or manual hustle. And when the smarter brand system, the full system, is running in your business, this is what happens. Imagine a new lead reaches out after hours. Instead of them waiting until the next day, they get a fast, helpful response that sounds exactly like you and your brand. Then they're routed to the right next step, whether it's for them to book, whether it's to answer or ask a question, or even to clarify the fit. Then your follow-up runs consistently, whether you're in back-to-back sessions or taking a long weekend. And then your best clients' experiences trigger a review request at exactly the right moment. Not awkwardly, not randomly, naturally, at the peak of their satisfaction. And your past clients don't disappear into silence. They get a reactivation message that feels personal, not spammy. And some of them come back again and again. Would you be interested in having that running in your business? So your growth doesn't depend on more effort or you remembering to do this thing or another? This isn't about more content. This isn't about more platforms. It's about one system that makes what you already do finally work and compound. So here's what's next. If the Smarter Brand system sounds like something that you want for your business, click the link either below or somewhere in the video and apply to work together. Tell me a little bit about where your business is, what you're looking forward to or what you're working on, and then which lever, based on your scores, is the most urgent. I'll take a look and get back to you about whether it's a fit. This is the thing. Most health businesses spend tens of thousands a year and hours of effort on content, ads, referrals, and tools without ever fixing the system underneath. This is different. This is infrastructure for your business. And unlike ad spends, this is actually going to compound over time. So click and apply to work together. The worst case scenario, is that you finally have a clean system that reduces chaos and stops leads and revenue from leaking. The best case scenario is that you install an efficient and effective engine, one that generates trust and multiplies that trust into predictable demand and repeat business, practically on autopilot. Now, you might be on the fence about whether you should apply to work together. And I want you to honestly answer these 3 questions. Number 1, does the system I just walked you through, attract, activate, multiply, get you closer to consistent client flow for your business? Ask yourself this question. Number 2, would having me install it with you increase your chances of success versus figuring it out all alone? And then also, question number 3, can you make the investment work if the outcome, as I described it, has the impact on your business? If you said no to any of these, the timing probably isn't right, and that's okay. But you said yes to all 3, you owe it to yourself to at least apply. So click the link, fill out the short form, and let's see if we're a good fit. Remember, this is about the trust outputs, book calls, retention, reviews, referrals, and reactivations. That's what makes growth predictable. You don't need more hacks. You don't need just another AI tool. You definitely don't need to be working harder. What you do need is one system that makes trust visible and makes growth repeatable. And the Smarter Brand system was built especially for that. So click the link below or somewhere around the video and apply. And let's work together to get you out of the more trap and more on the growth track permanently.